Hey, hey! Doing the Invested Agents podcast on the road from, well, it wasn't Lake Jackson, now Angleton, heading back to the house. Pick up some pizza and carve some pumpkins with the kiddos. So, yeah, we might be picking up another rental in Lake Jackson. That's why so far, it takes a whole hour just to get down here, and then to get back, so wasn't planning on coming down here until next week, so I can get some virtual tours done and get a couple properties on the market, which is what kind of leads me to the title of this, or what I put in the description is COVID got me. No, I'm not infected with COVID, don't have that, but it did cause a vacancy in one of our rentals. It finally started affecting our rental portfolio, at least one of them. And I feel sorry for this tenant too. They were actually trying to buy the house, and they had some issues. They weren't going to qualify, so they were going to do a rent-to-own type program. And we didn't do an official rent-to-own. We just said, hey, you can rent it and qualify next year. Great. Maybe we can owner's finance it. And they ended up having a death in the immediate family, and then COVID caused one of them to get laid off, like right at the same time. Those things happened like back to back, and he ended up getting a new job, but and they had to cut their lease short, unfortunately. So we're sprucing it up, and we're going to put it right back on the market we're going to put it on the market to sell. This was originally a flip turn rental, and hopefully we'll move it. If not, we'll just rent it again. It's a beautiful property in a corner lot in I forget the subdivision. It's in the boonies of Angleton, where you're driving this windy road, tall trees. It's absolutely beautiful, and it backs up to a little creek or some drainage. It's a beautiful piece of land, and we did a nice rehab to it. So anyway, hopefully we get that moved, and then I had to drop by Brazoria to slap a lockbox on another rental. This tenant is skipping out, not because of COVID, but because he wants to be a jerk and decides he's going to terminate the lease because he thinks he knows better. And I think he thinks he's getting a deposit back, which he's in for a rude awakening there. So the joys of being a landlord. We actually had another tenant issue. Crazy lady in the north side of town, and she's been a problem since day one. Actually, this Brazoria one, they've been a problem since day one as well. But this other one, she's just been an absolute nightmare. And the problem is she didn't do her due diligence. And when she moved in, she thought it was zoned to a certain school, and it wasn't. And I don't know what's going on there. But she's been getting some advice from someone who works at the county, and if the house isn't safe, then they can terminate the lease. So she's been like calling on the stupidest things. It's absolutely ridiculous. And in some things, like, she's making it sound like it's this crazy, this serious, crazy issue, and then our contractors are going out there and they're giving us a completely different story. It's just bizarre, and we're like, what's going on? And we'd like to believe the tenant, but hey, the contractor's telling us a different story. So we ended up, I think the catalyst was there were some broken boards in the deck, and we went out and replaced some boards, and then an hour later she said, I fell through another board. And the contractor's like, no, that's impossible, unless she took a sledgehammer to it. So we ended up having both of them out there simultaneously. And he's given us live feed on site. And then the moment he left, the tenant ended up calling and giving us completely 180 degree opposite assessment of the situation. And that's when we realized like she is playing a game, and we put a hard stop to it. We did a couple of things just to settle at least any dispute. They weren't making good faith effort, but we had to put a hard stop to it. It'll be very interesting as we ride out the next 6 months of her lease. So the joys of being a landlord, but it comes with a lot of benefits. These properties, and especially that one I just mentioned with a crazy lady, that property where it had previously flooded, comps were kind of, they were very watered down, but just in the last 6 months, COVID's probably been a help to this. The comps have pushed it almost back to 100% pre-flood for this subdivision. We think we could actually see a $50,000 to $100,000 increase in our projected ARV for this house. So essentially, we think it may end up selling for what it should have sold for if it never flooded at all. And this is an amazing neighborhood. I hope it does. If those comps play out and they stay strong when this lady ends up inevitably moving out, we're going to go ahead and capture that and redeploy. As far as the Brazoria house, we'll probably put that up for sale and then lease if it doesn't move quickly. But that one has also gone up. So the moral of the story is we've learned through the process of flipping all these homes that flipping's great. It's like earning commission as a real estate agent. It's a one and done thing, though. It's one and done. And you got to constantly do it. It's a lot of work for one time, sometimes nice payouts, but there's no residual aspect to it, and you don't get any tax advantages. You don't get any advantages from appreciation and also depreciation for tax benefits, and then of course debt pay down. So by taking these rentals and these properties and turning them into rentals, even if you're renting out for just a couple of years, you end up, especially in this it's not really high appreciation for Houston, but if you're going to get 3, maybe 5% a year in certain markets, you can easily capture another $10,000, $20,000, or in some cases, actually in a lot of cases, if you're going to hold it 3 to 5 years, maybe $20,000 to $40,000 on your returns. Plus, hopefully, you've cash loaded during that time, and then you get to sell it through capital gains. You get better taxes, tax situation on that type of sale versus when you're doing it as active inventory. So that's what we've been doing. It's I think it's going to be a game changer for us. It's what I call the slow flip strategy. The slow flip strategy. It's kind of a variation of the BRRRR strategy, where we're just taking inventory, writing them out. And once that internal rate of return starts diminishing, or I guess the modified IRR starts diminishing, then we sell it and redeploy. So that's all I got for today, and see y'all next week.